in a wellness app. So that's the spot we are in right now. So the first question you would ask for in any signal is, who made this number? Her, a device, or an application? And that's what tells how it can lie to you. Her, can she lie about the number? For sure, she can. A device, it cannot lie to me in a way, but can it be incorrect? Correct. There's no way to measure it. And my own application, then it is my own terms. So now, what does it mean when it's actually missing? So you would want to ask this question, that what happens if she is the one who is the source for my data and she actually misses the check-in, what happens to my data then in my database? So that's the second question I would want to ask. And the last question would be, whatever have I measured, do I want to show it to her? So, I mean, these two questions I've been asking again and again. But the third question uh, is is what even is amusing to me in a way that would I want to tell her what I've measured so that I report her the exact number, or do I report her the exact situation? What do I exactly do over here? So let's move on to something a bit in a basic SQL. We wouldn't go into a very intensive coding, but let's look at in a very simple average kind of model how this entire thing would work. So this is Aisha's entire week, and if you are actually building a hackathon app and your data would be actually um, small, not smaller than this, but I think you would want to use only this much data for starting with your application idea. So Aisha's day, we are measuring 7 days. So we are measuring her sleep and also the mood. So, like the point one, who made this number? One is the device and one is her. So, over here, sleep comes from the device, where sleep is recorded in certain 7 days. And mood is basically rated from her because we cannot rate her mood. She's the one who will come and log onto the application and mood her rate. Now, when we look at the numbers, I mean, what do you think? Like, where exactly this entire thing is going wrong? Looking at it, I think day one looks fine. Day two again looks okay. Day three looks fine because again it's just fire. She actually has slept fires, and yeah, the mood is definitely low, but that's okay. Four or five is exactly when you will think that something is going wrong. Like most of us would be like, yeah, there's something wrong on 4th and 5th day, but probably that has recovered on the 7th day. But my question to y'all is, do you all really think that has happened over here? Or is it like, do we assume it, or how do we even measure it? So for that, let's go to I have some SQL queries for y'all where we look at the data and how it moves around her 7 days. So this is the same 7 days which I've loaded into query, and this is the exact 7 days which we were actually seeing over here. And this is the same 7 days, so I'm not going to repeat it. So let's go into the second question. So I mean, let's start with the first thing. So we said we needed was her normal. So this is the 3-day rolling average. I mean, what do I mean by normal is the baseline. So to for me to decide if her day was, I mean, if she was okay or not, I need to have a baseline. So my idea over here to measure a baseline, I mean, the big applications definitely have their own ML models running, to calculate the baseline. But for me, it will be a simple 3-day rolling average. So let's just keep it simple because we are trying to understand the idea over here and we're not trying to get the perfect results. So I have measured the rolling day average for Aisha. So let's execute it and let's just see what the result. So over here, we are able to see that for the day one, it's 7.5. The number looks okay. For day two, it's 7. The number looks okay. The day three, which actually looked over here pretty low to us, but when you average it, it looks fine. So one bad noise, I've reduced it over here. So this is just one way of in data to where you actually reduce the noise. Because I don't want to deduce or assume that there's something wrong with Aisha just by looking at one day. That's the day three. So now moving forward with the day four, I see that the number is going low. And it's pretty low for day five and day six. But somehow she looks that she has recovered on day seven. Now, does this still answer our question that is Aisha doing okay? I mean, to me, it doesn't. To me, it definitely doesn't. But for y'all, if y'all think it does, I would take a pause and I would want to know, like, do y'all think this signal is actually enough for me to decide that Aisha is doing okay? Okay, there's a okay. It's not. Yeah, definitely it's not. But how do we then know exactly that if, Aisha is doing okay or not? So you remember that I also no, because okay, let me read the answers. The data is set as relatively small. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we'll need more data. Yes, yes, we definitely need more variables. And in our case, we do have one more variable with us, and that's the mood. That's what Aisha has logged in. So y'all have actually guessed the correct answer. But yeah, we are looking to also what does one mean? Is it's a self-given? Yes, it's self-given. It was logged by Aisha herself. She logged that on the day five, her mood was at one, and one is the lower. Mood five is definitely when she's happy. So it could vary. Yeah, correct. It could vary. Now, moving forward to block three, mm, where I bring in the new variable. It's not the new variable, it's what I had already recorded with me. But now I actually compare the 3 day rolling window with sleep and with mood. Here, the day one looks okay, the day two looks okay, the day three looks okay, fine. And if suppose my threshold, so right now, let's not go into threshold, just look at the numbers, we'll just observe it. So over here, we see the mood is low and the sleep is also low, and it's just going down and down from here. And still keep a note on day seven, it seems she has recovered. So just let's not assume anything even from here. We are just observing the data and how is it moving with the calculations which we are doing. Now we are going to day four. Sorry, the block four, not the day four. Let's run this SQL query. And over here, what does this flag mean? It's very simple. I have not complicated it much. If you can see this line here, I have just defined threshold. Now, if you'll ask me how have I defined this threshold, this is just an example. So I've just taken it into a very simple average. A person with average 5.5. I know 5.5 is not a very healthy sleep, but for people who are habitual to it, can 5.5 can still consider be normal. And for mood, 2.5 because may not be they be very happy or may not be very sad, somewhere in the middle. So by just taking the middle ground, I've added these thresholds. And with these thresholds, I've compared do sleep and mood are lower than that. For day one, it's definitely not lower. Day two, it's not lower. Day three, it's not lower. The things start going wrong from day four, which we have been talking about since the start. That, yeah, it's lower than the threshold which we had defined for five, six, but seven still looks okay. So now the first assumption is has from our side has started. We have started assuming that there is something wrong with the Aisha's day four, day five, and day six. Now, do we just think the assumption which we have done is correct? We move forward and we just declare, or do we dig into a lot? So I'll just put one more question to you all. What do you think will happen when Aisha never logs in her mood? What happens? Like when there is a null value over here, if there's a null value over here, just by two signals, do I again assume that there's something wrong with Aisha or her day wasn't good? I mean, that's a bit skeptical. Like, is this enough for deciding if there's something wrong with Aisha? Is what I asked myself. And now I bring in another, yeah, definitely not enough. Yes, this is definitely not enough data. This is definitely not enough calculations from my side to look what's going wrong with her. So I bring in something new over here. This may look a bit complicated, but let's let's stay in together over here. So we see that there's a column named days reported. So now I get to know that Aisha never checked in day. So let me just be clear what day reported does. Day reported is basically a 3-day rolling window as to if Aisha had actually logged in or not. I mean, if she had checked in or not. Day one, because this is the first time she's reporting, so yeah, she had reported. Day two and day three, yeah, both of the days she has reported. Day three, all 3 days she has reported. On day four, the days reported has not moved forward. That means she never actually logged in. So the mood number which we had, that just remained that way. It was just a number which remained in the database. And my application, because I had a very simple way of collecting data, I never assumed that it can happen that Aisha never logs in and I get null in my mood data. And I don't what do you say? I don't store the information as to why Aisha never checked in. And there can be many reasons that why Aisha never checked in and recorded her mood. But I would want to, remember, know that reason. Like it can happen that her application didn't open, or it can happen that the mood was reported, but there's some error, or there's some device error, or it got skipped, or she was not enrolled. There can be multiple reasons to it. So there the idea of streak starts coming in slowly, where we have the idea that why streak is important or how streak is important. I mean, this entire idea starts sweeping in slowly right now. So let's move forward. And this is the last way to measure. Would this give me an answer? Let's just see. So for this, I would also we actually went through this, but I mean, the first two. Okay, let's just finish with this and we'll move forward onto that. Okay, so over here we see these are all bit formulas. So let's not very much go into it, but this is the same days reported. And these are formulas where we are telling has she skipped or not. So the first 4 days she didn't skip. The 4 days she skipped. So there's a skip in fifth, sixth, and seventh. Hence, the formula or the data which fifth, sixth, and seventh had calculated had less amount of data to actually assume what went wrong. So whatever was reported by the our formula was actually incorrect. So now how would I say that? Over here, this is before I applied this entire formula. I can see that sleep is going down and the mood is also slowly going down, but it raises. So both of them move together. Hence, I flagged for day 4 to 6 that there's something wrong over here. And I said that seven has nothing wrong and 1 to 3 have nothing wrong. But when I brought in the skip thing, it says that sleep is going down and mood is fine, and there's nothing wrong in the mood. So, but we missed that the day was skipped and we ended up generating a wrong data. So now, if I, it's okay if y'all have not understood the data, but I'll just explain what's the entire idea of this. So, there is this one subject literally dedicated to this entire thing, which says the detector detects and flags the low mode. The app tells her that you seem low this week. And then what she does is she stops or she skips or she misses the streak. Like in a day 4, day 5, day 6, one of the day may have told her that something went wrong. And because of that, this is all assumption. Okay, this is all assumption. And she considers that, yeah, she may not open the app and she misses the streak. and the flag dies and the streak entirely goes wrong. But as we see over here, the mood keeps going up. So this is a self-negating kind. So it makes you feel the risk is lower than what it shows. So, but there's also a clinical name for this data, which says that uh, a model becoming a victim of its own success. So let me just give you a very simple idea. Can it happen that Aisha's mood was actually bad on fourth and fifth day, but she logged her mood higher than what it was? Just so that she keeps on, it's just the victim mentality sometimes that you don't want to log it lower or something like that. That entire idea is summarized into this a model becoming a victim of its own success, where we see numbers going up, but just so that we make the person feel better. Now, if the entire thing was summarized into a simple thing, my entire idea was to not tell Aisha that your wellness score dropped by 18% this week. My entire idea was to tell her that your sleep's been low, you're below your usual for 3 nights, and you have been checking in less. Does that match your feeling? Now, the first three SQL queries which I had, I could see that something went wrong. But to answer this question, I had to bring in the rest too to tell that there's something which has gone wrong in her sleep and it looks below usual. And also, she has been checking in less. And does that match what is she feeling? Now, the if I report her it in this manner, it is more consumable, or she would want to she would understand that this app is trying to understand me and not telling me that there's something wrong with me. So, whenever you are building a wellness app for anyone, you are not supposed to tell people that there is something wrong with them. Rather, ask them, ask them if whatever you're assuming about them is actually right or wrong. So, the reporting should be from their behavior, not from the number which you have found. So I'll take a pause. Like, if y'all want to say anything about this, and if y'all feel that this is conflicting to what y'all think, y'all can object, or else we can move forward from here. Okay, so let's move forward from here. So now the entire exercise which we did was there was something which killed my detector. So I was detecting that yeah something is going wrong with Aisha, but there's one element which came in and said that there's you're not measuring it right, and that was exactly which was streak. So streaks do work, streaks do sound amusing, but let's talk more about like if streaks actually do right or wrong. Now, before going on to the streaks, I would also want to touch upon this small topic of, how big tech, because we are emphasizing on the fact that signals are very important and how do they measure and how exactly everyone is doing it and how would you also want to do it in your hackathon application. So, quick detour. Because y'all would assume that big companies are doing it in something way more sophisticated than what we right now just built. And that's just a whole idea, but I would say that they are also having even they have set of signals like Whoop, Aura, Garmin, Fitbit, Apple Watch. Just take the branding off, and they are all measuring rough the same handful of things: heart rate variability, resting heart rate, sleep duration, and the recent activity. And by whatever the terms which I've used, that's literally the whole industry. And if you squash in two more elements like recovery, readiness, body battery, and different names, yada yada. uh, I mean, also they also have their own weights, which they definitely wouldn't tell us. But do you all think they measure everything similar way? Does Whoop measure its heart rate in a very similar way like Aura? They are trying to measure heart rate, right? So y'all think that they measure it the same way, like because it's the same signal, right? And body battery, do you also think Garmin measures the body batteries the same way as Apple Watch? If y'all think or if y'all assume that it's the same, and then it's even I was pretty much even I had an assumption that maybe they do it the same way, but it's entirely wrong. So Whoop does it only during deep sleep. So they take only one heart rate variability, and that's only during the deep sleep. And Aura does it in some like it does it in the average across windows. So to summarize the entire thing, same signal, two different companies, almost working on a very similar kind of goal, but they do it in different way. And whatever I had started with the idea that how everything is done, it is directly getting conflicted over here. And would you all tell that this is error or anything? Like, I mean, you wouldn't assume that this is an error. Rather, this is just two different ways to actually measure. So, so here's the part I don't want to give about. Honestly, streaks work, but the biggest problem is in the whole space isn't the accuracy. It's just that if nobody opens the app, the dropout is enormous. Most of the users will be gone, and an app nobody opens helps actually nobody. So the engagement, let's not consider engagement as a dirty word, but there are two things. First, people who are depressed find rewards less motivating than people who aren't. That's the character. That's not a character thing. It's just a symptom, and it's called as anhedonia. So your streak is the weakest on exactly the users you actually built the application for. And the researchers have meta-analyzed this, and the application themselves did reduce the depressive symptoms, but the gamification bits specifically showed actually no measurable effect. And the second, the leaderboards. There's a small study which people had done on club runners where people deleted their runs from Strava just because they felt that it is too slow. I mean, you just sit with a data engineer for a second and you will just see that, the users are actually deleting whatever they feel is very low. Why? Because you are rewarding them for their activity, not because they come and check in, but because how well they have performed in a Strava run. So this is again this idea basically emphasizes the rule. So, I mean, I would just summarize this entire thing with this very one simple rule. So, gamify the act of reporting and never the content of the report. As in, never award Aisha for sleeping well. Rather, you should award her for coming onto the app, checking in, and recording her mood. You can actually assign a streak for that, but never ever assign her a award or any kind of a points for sleeping well because that doesn't sit right with the idea. As I said, if someone is depressed or someone is having very bad time, they wouldn't want one more person to just tell them that there's something wrong with them. Also, try to be honest with whatever you are trying to tell. So, summarizing the entire thing into just 3 points, we started with these 3 points and we are ending with these 3 points. Who made this number for your hackathon application? Just decide where do you want the number to come from. Second, what does missing mean? If suppose your number is missing for a certain day, how would you actually define it? And how would you fill the gaps in so that whatever results you're getting gives you some meaning? And the last thing, and the most important thing, do you show it back to them? And I've already emphasized on the topic, like how are you supposed to show it back to them? But again, you do it the old school way or you do it in your own way is exactly what will bring flavor to your hackathon application. And if you can come up with a very interesting idea as to how you can do it well, then that could be a winning point for your hackathon application. Which the exact problem which I told you that making a depressed person open the app is more difficult. And if you are if you're targeting them, is this the right way to target them? So I think that's all from my side. Y'all, I can share the SQL queries with you all. I mean, if y'all want to have a look into it, this is the site for that. And if y'all have any questions, y'all can ask. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. You timed it perfectly. If you guys have questions, you can just drop them in the chat. We'll wait for a few minutes to see if anybody has questions. But other than that, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not seeing any people typing any questions, but if you do want to go ahead and provide the queries, you can definitely do that and we can share it in the resources channel along with the slides. But yeah, thank you so much again for coming here and hosting the workshop for everyone to prepare for the hackathon. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, that's going to conclude the second workshop of the workshop marathon. Once you guys come back in about 10 minutes, and we'll have our third workshop before we take a longer break. All right, we'll see you guys then.